I am ready.
Okay, ready? And in 3, 2, and Jesse hits go.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads. Oh.
I was going to say, I already did.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Marty. My bad.
Well, here we go. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 138, recorded on July 19th, 2017. On tonight's episode, we discussed Splatfest results. Who won? Cake or ice cream? Splatoon 2 anime is coming soon, as well as the game's release in just a couple of days. Nintendo has dropped their online app, and some people aren't happy, and there is tons more to discuss. Tonight's going to be a full show. Jesse or Zach or Justin? I don't know. Somebody hit the music.
Music in post.
There you go. Perfect. Hey, guys. Welcome to Nintendo Dads. I'm your host, Justin Masson, and with me today, guys, is two of the greatest podcast hosts in all of the land, Marty and Jesse. Good evening, Jesse Waldeck. How are you today, sir?
I'm good.
Excellent. Having a bit of trouble with the recording today, yeah?
A little bit, yeah. Windows decided to update itself in the middle of the night or this morning, which is nothing strange, but it literally messed up all of my audio settings. So Marty and I was on a call earlier today. I was helping him put the finishing touches on an article he wrote for VG Tribune, and it took me a while to get that set up, and then I realized my OBS settings are all whacked too. So we tried to record our normal pre-show for the patrons, and recorded nothing but silence.
Speaking of guy who's never silent, especially not on these Wednesdays, the man from the South, Marty Estes. Marty, how are you today, sir?
I am fantastic and excited to be back on the show. Hopefully no more week on and week off breaks.
Sure, yeah. You definitely missed last week, for sure. And obviously, it's great to have you back. And you had got a ton of Splatoon information for us.
I do. And for our YouTube viewers, I just want to throw that out there. Right there.
The audio version, he's showing off that he's playing Splatoon 2 right now. And of course, Nintendo, our kind partners at Nintendo, were good enough to get us a review copy several days early. What am I looking at here specifically?
Glow-in-the-dark yellow Joy-Con.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah, that's
a sexy Joy-Con, by the way.
Well,
fantastic.
and you know, I'd been putting them together in the regular, I'd had like 2 blues, 2 reds, 2 yellows, and my son decided that I needed a blue and a yellow today.
There you go. It was a blue and yellow today.
He tried to make green, it just didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Splatoon Joy-Cons come out this week, right? Friday, so you could probably get like 3.
Not for North America.
Ooh, touchy subject. My bad.
Just like lots of things we don't get over here that
America.
we'll probably talk about later.
Yeah, we for sure. I was going to ask you guys. So speaking of the Joy-Cons, and obviously Marty, you've got quite a collection there. Do you
I
have
have
the Grays?
6, yeah.
Yeah, you have the Grays too. Do you think you're going to go into like collecting every set of Joy-Cons? Is it intentional, or were you just I blacked out? I walked out of the store, had new Joy-Cons in my hand.
Yeah, that's how the yellow happened. I mean, I was thinking specifically, I'm not going to buy these,
cart.
and they kind of came out right before ARMS, and people were having a hard time finding them. And I walked into my GameStop, and they had 3 sets of them, and I was like, I'm about to go on this trip. I'm about to have a bunch of teenagers with me, and there's a game called Astro Duel Deluxe that we played the crap out of while we were on that trip, and so I was actually glad that we had the 6 Joy-Cons because we could all play, and we had a blast with it. But here's the thing: I'm stuck between I want all the Joy-Cons and I want to actually be able to feed my family.
Right.
So,
yeah, the price point, just shy of, I think in North America, as I recall, here in the UK, after you shake it out for conversion, you're just shy of $100 for 2 Joy-Cons. I think, what is it, 60 for you guys in America?
It's 80.
Good Lord.
$79.99 for 2.
Oh yeah, that's a bit of a tough
yeah.
goal.
I mean, it's an investment when you get it. So I'm done on Joy-Cons, and just being really honest, if I'd have known that the Splatoon ones were coming out over here, I probably would have gotten those. I would have waited.
Yeah.
I wish they would do the opposite version of them too, though. Like if they did a green and purple and a purple and green.
Yep.
I'm in. I would be in. I mean, there would be no there'd be no turning back.
This is
Now,
the only,
Jesse is sporting, for those of you on the audio, Jesse is holding up his Switch that just has the straight grays.
and these
still.
are the only set of Joy-Cons I own.
Yeah.
I have not yet bought any colors.
As a guy who had gray and wished that I had, I went neon in the beginning, and my extra set was gray. I wish I had gone full neon in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and you know what? One of our faithful patrons helped me get a hold of a neon set when I was having trouble getting them.
that's
So-
great.
Yep.
Our
Little
Patreon, our Patreon supporters are freaking amazing, obviously, and that's a good segue into who we're going to jump in the news. But guess who is brought to us by? It's brought to us by our amazing Patreons over at patreon.com/NintendoDads. Hey, Marty, do you know who Dr. B, Trevor, and Lowry are? Why those three names are important? Dr. B, ladies and gentlemen, the names are Dr. B, Lowry, and Trevor.
Could they be the winners of our swag bag contest?
No, I did not set you up well for that.
All right. So to you three, I apologize.
No, but they are winners. They are winners in my mind, your mind, Jesse, and Zach's mind, because they are our latest Patreon supporters. All three of them.
Oh,
who just came in this
fantastic.
week. Yeah, so thank you very much.
So they win a different kind of prize. It's called
do.
the gratitude
They did.
gratitude prize.
They were all probably through like, what? This is amazing.
Oh, I feel like a big idiot
Really?
right now.
I didn't even enter.
Yeah, I should have probably put that in the notes so that you knew where I was going with that one.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
but
cool.
if you want to be like these three amazing folk who support us, head over to patreon.com/NintendoDads, and for as little as $1 a month, a little bit of scratch helps us make a lot of amazing content. We are so grateful for we are actually one Patreon supporter away from being 50, for having 50 supporters every single month to help us create this amazing content. So we're so grateful. Thank you.
You know what? Would also be great is we are about to have our first ever monthly merch giveaway for Patreon supporters who are $15 and over. And so right now we have 2 people supporting us at $15 and over. And if you want to jump in on that and get some really cool swag, Nintendo swag, some of it is going to be Nintendo swag. Some of it is going to be stuff we get out of 1UP box every month. Just extra stuff from there. You never know what you're going to get in these packages.
Some of it just might be stuff we're going to walk around the house and find. Like, here's a dirty sock, here's a fork, here's some Lego.
Some of it be some of like my kids' drawings and things like that. And so if you want, you know what, we're not going to call it the monthly merch giveaway. Forget that. We're going to screw that. We're going to call it the mystery merch giveaway.
Ooh, I love it.
Mystery merch madness. Every month we're going to send one person who is backing us at $15 or more a package full of goodness from Nintendo Dads, and we're just about to do that. And so you've got about a week to jump in at the $15 or above tier, and that will enter your name into a random drawing, and we'll notify you and get your email or get your mailing address and all that stuff and send it right out to you.
For the 2 people that are supporting us at that $15 and more marker, they're probably like, no, shut up. I got like a 50% chance right now. Shut your mouth. Don't you, don't do this to me.
Guys, like 10 minutes into the show, I've already messed up twice.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, speaking of not mess, yes, it is big night. Speaking of big night and lots of things to do, let's jump right into the news, shall we?
Do it.
We would insert a bumper right around here. For those of you that are not paying attention, I don't have a bumper soundboard. We're doing it in post because Jesse is amazing. By the way, for those of you, sorry, take a bit of a pause. This is why I don't host, because I like to go wherever I want. I listened to our Castlevania episode back. For those of you, it's available on the stream right now. You can download it. I love the fact that we decided not to put any music in, but we made up our own song on the spot. Castlevania, it's so spooky.
See, I thought he was still going to go back and put something in post.
Yeah, apparently not.
I love that. It was good.
Love Zach. Obviously, missing from today's show, he had some stuff that happened for a family he had to deal with. Obviously, he just doesn't love us the same way as he loves his family, which I think is a lot of bull. Speaking of what is not a lot of bull, Marty, you've been playing a game. You've been playing some Splatoon, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of Splatoon news, so I'm going to take a glance. I'm going to take a glance at Splatoon news, and we're going to break it down. Obviously, this weekend, Splatfest results are in. Did you guys play? I think Marty,
I did.
Jesse, you played, right?
I played 2 games and got my Heine handed to me both times. I actually put I put a tweet out on the second game. I put a screenshot of what my map looked like, and I said, I hate this game.
And I do want to call that out. For a guy who openly is like, I don't like this game, like, kudos and hands up, like, slow. Bless me, I didn't get to my mute switch quick enough. I apologize. Slow clap and applause for you, sir, for playing a game that you really don't like and giving it a go. So well done.
Yeah. Very good.
Because I would have said to like any JRPG.
At least you tried the free game.
Right. I didn't try ARMS.
Okay.
So
at least you tried this free game.
Yeah. I was hoping my daughter would try it because she has a pre-order and already paid for half of it, but she ended up sleeping through the Splat.
It was a really I would have rather it had been like maybe 2 times, like a morning time and an evening time.
Yep.
Like 8 hours, because that 4 was really short. And to be honest, I played for 2 hours and only got in about 5 matches because there were times that I would just sit and wait to be matched up with somebody. And I know they're working some kinks out and things like that.
That was a conversation I think it was on our Patreon chat. Some people actually got into level kings.
Oh wow!
Which I don't know how much playing that is, but I didn't get past Fangirl or whatever the lowest tier is.
Do you want to know a little bit of a secret on how you extend that time, Marty?
Sure.
You have an EU account on your Switch, and you go over and download the Splat Premier there, and you download the North American one.
Nice.
So you get 4 hours in Europe, and then you get 4 hours in North America. So you get about 8 hours in total if you want.
The only bad thing about that is that your progress doesn't transfer over each time. So you start. Even when you start Splatoon 2, it doesn't transfer over.
Yeah, it doesn't transfer over, but you can get about 8 hours if you don't mind the wicked adjustment for time zones. So
that's true.
There is some ways,
and that's a good way to look at it.
You can work around it if you're looking for exposure. That was actually I jumped on the EU side here, but I had the North American one. But it was like 11 o'clock my time, and I was like, no, we're not going to do that. But you have the ability to, for sure. So obviously, Splatfest. General thoughts on Splatfest, guys? I mean, for me, it was very much what I was expecting it to be, right? You got in, you were able to play. I did like the fact you were able to get in early, kind of go through the system demo, understand your button layout, your configuration, try it. For those of you who had not played it before, it was your first exposure. You were able to get into Inkopolis, kind of run around, just familiarize yourself with the territory, essentially. Couldn't do anything other than voting.
Because in Splatoon 1, when they did their kind of pre-release event, you had to eat up there. You couldn't log in early to do the tutorial, so you had to blow up 5 minutes of your tutorial time doing the tutorial.
Yeah, so I thought
like that. So I did like the fact that you could do it early on your own terms.
Yeah, I thought they handled that well, and then I love the fact you're able to get in and just kind of choose. You have your 4 weapon sets. Some of the weapons being very familiar to what we've seen before. Obviously, the roller. Your sniper rifle, which is kind of like your, what is that one, the sniper shot or whatever it is.
Yeah. Your dualies, you had the dually and you had a splatter shot.
The dualies were new, right? The dualies were new. And then your splatter shot. And then obviously your specials were new for, I think, almost every single one of them were new specials.
The Splat weekend or whatever that they had, the test fire.
Yeah.
Back in March.
Yeah.
There were some of those options. I remember having the missiles, because I really like those. Yeah. But I could definitely tell a tweaked difference between the missiles from that first test fire to this.
Were you? Yeah.
They've definitely been nerfed a lot. They're not as good as they were.
Yeah. I used the one where you jump up and slam the ground and it goes up.
Yeah, that's the one I was using.
I like that one a lot, actually. That was quite good.
I've actually been using in Splatoon 2 this week. Hey, spoiler alert, we got an early copy of Splatoon 2. I've been playing it. It's awesome. Go buy it. That's my review.
Shortest review. Review.
No, we'll talk about that more here in a minute. But seriously, I've been playing a lot. I really main a Splat roller anyway, and so the one that I've got right now has the splat down or the splash down thing, and it is super cool to be rolling up into enemy territory and you see them coming and you jump up into the air with that and they're like, hey, where'd he go? And then you come down on top of them and kill them all. I killed the entire team today at
That's
one point.
Awesome.
I fell off, hit a guy hit two of them with the splat roller, then did the splashdown, and got the other two, and we still lost because some people, despite your best efforts, are just garbage. And then there's times that I play and I'm just garbage and I can't do anything. So Splatfest. Can we talk a little bit about these results?
Absolutely.
So the superior team won, which is Team Cake, Team Ice Cream. I was talking about the inferior team there for a while. I'm sorry, I was thinking about all the people whining online, but why does everybody hate Team Cake? Because cake sucks and ice cream is better. That's why. Only 24% of people worldwide went for cake.
And
that should tell you something.
I knew ice cream had a high percentage because one of the two games that I played was a Team Ice Cream versus Team Ice Cream.
Yeah, I had a couple of those cases too, actually.
Here's a secret. Not a secret, it's just what happened. Every game I played was ice cream versus ice cream except one. I played Team Cake one time.
Yeah, the one I took the screenshot from, which one we lost bigger, was against the Team Cake.
Now, I will say kudos to Team Cake because that match, we got steamrolled. And it was not pretty. I mean, it was really bad. But 76% of people were Team Ice Cream. Even Reggie was Team Ice Cream. Even Doug Bowser was Team Ice Cream. I mean, come on. So, solo matches, like solo wins, I guess. 51% went Ice Cream, 49% for Cake, which was actually a very close, percentage there. And actually, Cake won the team. Match, which I guess I can kind of get because Ice Cream was fighting themselves all the time, and Cake's wins counted. That makes Cake's wins count more. So 53% for Cake, 47% for Ice Cream. But what it means is Ice Cream wins 2 categories out of the 3. It's official. Splatoon has proven it. Ice Cream is better than Cake.
And it's the law. According to little animation.
It's the law, and if you don't like it, fight me.
come at me, bro. Come at me.
So, I remember I had the option to play with solo and team, and I chose solo. I'm not sure exactly what that difference is between the two. Do you guys remember what you chose, and if you noticed
I always
any difference?
just chose a regular battle, but I believe solo is 1-on-1.
Well, I still had a team of 4.
You still had a team of 4.
And I thought I chose solo, so I'm not sure. Maybe I did choose.
Let's just go see if I can choose a solo battle right now.
Interesting.
Well, you got the real game, so you can do that.
Yeah. Overall, I thought Splatoon 2 Splatfest was exactly what I was expecting it to be. Had a great time playing it, familiarized myself with it. I don't know about you, and I'd be interested, Marty, in understanding your experience has been obviously extended. When we had the test fires back in March or April or May, whenever it was, a lot of people complained about hitting the map button a lot.
Yes.
And I found I continued to do that in the Splatfest as well, as I was hitting the map button, and not like it feels like that needs to be remapped, the jump button and the access the map button. Mm-hmm. Now that you've had it for several days and have been playing it, do you experience that same problem as well?
Actually, no.
Or are you just completely incompetent?
No, not anymore. But I will say that during the entire Splatfest, it was happening to me constantly, and it still does occasionally. Like if I'm in the middle of a particularly precarious firefight or something, I will end up blinding myself with the map. But the overall, like as you play, you get used to it, and there's parts of the single player campaign in Splatoon 2 that are focused around jumping. And I think that helps, especially in one of the first 3 worlds. I think there's a lot of jumping where you'll throw some ink down and you'll go across some chasms that way, some gaps. Yeah. So that helps the repetition. And I guess just learning it, like I've literally had to go into some matches and go jump is B.
Right. Do you know? And I'm throwing you a bit on the spot, so if you have to kind of step away and check. Do you know? Can you remap any of your button configurations?
You
on
cannot.
on the actual
I can
game.
tell you.
Ah,
I can tell you that for sure right now.
really, that's too
In
bad.
fact, let me because we don't want to give any fake news here
Sure.
at Nintendo Dads.
Sure.
The way that you get to that option is by pressing the X button in the Inkopolis, and you go over to options. Here's the options that you get in the you get map, status, stages, and options, and TV tabletop mode. You get motion control sensitivity and sensitivity for the right stick and the axis, the R axis.
Yeah.
And x-axis and motion controls. You can actually turn motion controls off, however, and have your y-axis, your up and down, actually be controlled by the right stick as well. I saw some people complaining about that.
Yeah.
They were saying, "What you give us motion controls? Why don't you?" Well, there you go. You have that option.
Yeah.
Same thing for handheld.
But no reconfigures, no button reconfigure.
No, there's an other, and you can lock ink colors in online battles to make things easier to see, and you can turn in-game post displays off. You can also go down to player settings and redo your Squid Me or whatever you created at the beginning. But no, there's not going to be any remapping.
That's too bad.
They put on their 8-bit sunglasses and said, deal with it.
And just for the 3 people who may not have played the game, the reason why people are trying to push X in Splatoon to jump is because you had to do that in Zelda.
Well, I think in the original Splatoon, it's X.
Well, was it also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and my understanding is a lot of it because of all the Zelda hours put in.
Well, that I would say that's definitely part of the issue too. But I think for me, just from this, like the R button on the Joy-Con is probably too close to X for me to hit. B feels a little bit more natural.
Yeah, and I want
you definitely as muscle memory takes over, it does feel very, very natural.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Excellent. So we have the Splatfest. Not much more to say about that. Now, continuing on our trend of Splatoon, we talked a little bit about this actually last week, and we got an official announcement. And I'm hoping, Jess, you can provide maybe some insight to this since you did some notes. Earlier this week, it was announced that Splatoon will actually be getting an anime and coming in early August, and it was through actually Cora, and they're going to be putting those episodes on the YouTube channel. Is that correct? Yes.
That's what I understand, and unfortunately, that's all I know. I don't know anything else about it. Which the fact that it's coming on YouTube, I was hoping these would be like full length, like 22-minute TV episodes. But the fact that they're on YouTube, these might be more like the Pokemon generation things that they were last year, where they were more like 5 to 7 minute shorts. But we'll find out. Now, they're supposed to start on August 12th. Yeah,
August 12th. I'm actually on IGN's website right now as well. Yeah, they mentioned August 12th as the start date. Now, Core has actually been part of the serialization of Splatoon, and they've been doing a manga featured in their major magazine. And actually, that manga it debuted back in Japan, and I think a couple of years ago. It will actually be officially coming to the West later this year. I'm going to presume you can pick it up at any kind of your local comic book shop. But I know you were able to get like a translated fan version online of it as well. But I think. I don't know. Like, how do you guys feel about a Splatoon anime? General thoughts?
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited about it. Yeah. I think it's a perfect time for it. I think it's a great. It's only a win for Nintendo to ride this, kind of out and have something to follow up with Splatoon 2 coming out. And there's. I was thinking about this today as I was playing and just walking around Inkopolis. There's definitely a vibe that Nintendo is trying to create around Splatoon of a certain type of person that this game appeals to. I mean, it's obviously it's supposed to appeal to everybody, but like, there's not many other Nintendo games that like focus in on fashion so much, that focus in on like the social aspect of the gaming world so much, and kind of hit that sweet spot where like a lot of modern culture is right now. And so the only thing I think they could probably do better with this is to put it on Netflix.
Yeah, that'd feel like a great, an easy out for it for sure. Yeah. Jesse, what about your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a fan of animation, so I'll watch almost any animation once and then based on how, if I like the story or not, I'll continue watching it or not. You know, an example, kind of we kind of touched on it a little bit during the pre-show that no one will hear, but like the original Teen Titans from like 2004, loved it. Teen Titans Go, garbage.
Sure, shots fired. Shots fired for any Teen Titan Go fans. So if you want to send your hate mail, you can send it to Jesse Waldeck at Nintendo Dads. That's not an actual email. Don't send stuff there. It's going to bounce.
No, go ahead and send it. I mean,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, let it bounce. That's fine.
I do have Jesse at VGTribune.com.
There you go. Send your angry. Actually, guys, Teen Titans is the greatest movie ever, or show ever. Yeah, I think this is great. You know, I am curious if it's going to CoroCoro, if it's localized, right? Or whether, because I'm looking at CoroCoro's YouTube channel, it looks like it's exclusively a Japanese YouTube channel. So I am curious if we do get an English translated or a localized version.
I think the fact that it's on YouTube, we probably will get at least a subtitled version on maybe the Nintendo YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It may not be dubbed. It may be subbed. Like if this was something on Netflix, it would probably definitely be dubbed.
Yeah, for sure. So that would...
depending on how much effort they want to do. I'm hoping they do some sort of localization.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be interested to see, because I know that the comic essentially helped fill in actually that gap from when the Splatoon 1 ended, or Splatoon ended, to where Splatoon 2 is, and actually that 9-month period that they reference in the game, this waiting period, is actually the comic kind of filling in some of those gaps of how we get to where we are, and obviously our missing pop star. I wonder if if this YouTube series will kind of like kick out the back end of Splatoon 2's main mission, maybe, or be impacted by something in the game that would actually then kind of trickle into potentially an effect on Splatoon 3 or whatever that's going to look like as well. So I think this is great. You know, Nintendo mentioned getting into animation on their latest stock meeting. So this is great. I think it's a good time for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the Splatoon train, and for those of you that are like, oh dear God, I don't want to play Splatoon, I don't care about Splatoon, could you move on? Not quite yet. We're getting there, but we're not quite yet. The other big part of obviously Splatoon 2's launch here on July 21st is the app, right? Nintendo talked about the Nintendo Switch Online app, which again, the most original name I have ever heard for anything from Nintendo. If you could put New, Galaxy, or XL in that, you'd have the combination. So that released early. That released earlier this week, actually yesterday, I believe yesterday.
Yeah, the original announcement was supposed to all launch on the 21st, but things started leaking yesterday.
Yeah, and it's available on iOS and Android. So, and if you're a Windows Phone person, what are you doing with your life? So, getting one of these two.
We could download it Tuesday night, but we couldn't log in until this Wednesday morning.
That's right. You were able to download it and log in. So now this is actually relatively, let's talk about this for a little bit. A relatively easy setup once you download it. If you have a My Nintendo account, you log in with your My Nintendo account. You're then registered into the app. Nintendo has pretty seamlessly done that login between devices relatively well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Once you're in there, if you do not already have a copy of Splatoon 2, and I'm going to throw this ball over to Marty here in a couple of moments for him to, because he does have a copy, so he does have the ability to do a little bit more. If you don't have a copy of Splatoon 2 yet, you really can't do anything. It shows, so once you go into the app, it does show the games that are able to be used with it. In this case, Splatnet 2. It shows down at the very bottom left-hand corner as essentially the app associated at this time, or game-specific services, I guess is what they call it. They have an invitations area and a lounge, they call it. At this point, you can't do anything on that, but you can go into Splatoon 2. And again, if you don't have the game currently, it just shows you some of the things that you could do. So features include ordering gear, sharing your best battles, checking out current battle stages, and it says more features to be described there. So pretty thin for those of you that don't have Splatoon 2. Obviously, I think when everybody jumps on it on Friday, we'll hear a lot more. But Marty, I want to hear about your experience, because you do have Splatoon 2. You have been able to kind of get more into the app. So, sir, I'm going to let you go for it.
All right, so you can take a look right here. That's this is what most people are seeing in the app right now, just this red box. But
red box,
if you move down there, you can see that I have the Splatoon And above that it says, like you said, game-specific services. And in that red box is also an invitation list. So if you have waiting invites, you're going to be able to get to those straight from the beginning. But when you go into Splatoon 2, you can see there. I'm going to try to hold this.
There we go.
See it. That it has my personal character there. It has the amount of ink that I have dispersed, and scrolling down, you'll be able to see my loadout there right now. And there's also the lifetime inkage. I don't know if you can see that. And I am less than 200 P away from a milestone, which actually gives you a reward in the game when you do that. So there's going to be rewards that go along. You'll also be able to see current stages, which right now the current stages are Humpback Pump Track and Inkblot Art Academy, which makes me, that's in regular battle. Ranked battles, Port Mackerel, Muscle Forge Fitness. League battle is the Reef and Moray Towers. It's very easy to switch back and forth with those with the arrows there. And then you can also go into the there's a little icon up here in the top right corner that looks like a bag, and that takes you into the Splatnet Gear Shop.
Okay, look at that.
Which is, by the way, is already functional because I was able to buy a hat this morning that was expiring in an hour after I woke up, and it went ahead and sent that to merch. Now,
so what I'm hearing from you in that alone, Marty, is that Nintendo can now do pre-orders?
Just not for the important stuff.
Okay, just for electronic swag is what I'm hearing from you. Okay.
Right, yeah. So I've seen some blowback on this app today online, and I'm kind of confused. And I'm going to break this down in a couple of different categories that I saw this at. Number one, let's talk about the actual Splatnet feature. Some people were complaining about the gear shop and saying, oh, it doesn't even show you how many coins you have or whatever. And I kind of get that. I think I'm not even sure that there is a place for you to see that. No, there's not. At least that I'm finding right here on the front page. But here's the thing: you can buy this gear and have it sent to your to Merch, who will be in your game. He's in the Inkopolis lobby, and you don't have to buy it. Like I bought a beanie. It was 3,600 coins. I sent it to him. I went and found it in the game. And you talk to him, and down at the bottom of his menu, it'll say Splatnet. So you get that, and he's like, oh, yeah, you bought this or you wanted this. Do you still want it? And then he gives you the opportunity to buy it right then and there. Or you could say no, and you're not obligated. So, keep it up with your coins and everything. Not really a big deal. I guess you could probably go in there. I don't know. I may just try it right now. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to get a bunch of stuff. Like, I'm going to see if it'll let me get more than one item. Because it's not. I mean, it's not going to tell me I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some.
So
I can't afford this, so I'm going to go ahead and order it for sure, because it's 18,000 coins.
Wow.
It's an 18,000 coin pair of aviator sunglasses.
That's how much I pay for my aviators all the day.
15,000. I really like this though. Check this out. Oh, okay. So I ordered that the glasses, and it says confirm. You already ordered something.
Oh, so you can only have like one order in the queue.
You only have one order, but here's the thing. There's a thing here that says cancel gear order, so you can just cancel it straight from your phone.
No.
Or if I'm playing these two at the same time, like if I'm close, I can pick up my order and then just do another one.
Did they not sort of have that functional spot in Splatoon, the original? You had to go to like a back alley, and you found some guy.
The urchin.
The urchin, yeah, it looked kind of like sketchy.
Yeah, well, he's behind glass in a place that's near Merch right there. Like he's sitting in a cafe, kind of like eating or has his head in his hands. And Merch is the new guy. He can order from people that you see on the square or people you've played with, or he can get from Splatnet. So I don't really see the big deal about that. Go ahead, send the gear to your thing. Here's the bigger issue that I have is that people are, for lack of a better term, they are raking Nintendo over the coals for this app. Yeah. And people are flipping out about it without even having really tried it. I mean, there's been tons of articles posted today. Eurogamer hates it. Engadget hates it. Polygon hates it. Everybody hates it. And it's Nintendo's big flop. And here's my thing. Like, I really just like the question that kept coming to my mind today as I read all this is, what does Nintendo have to do to please these people? Because like we talked about with, I think it was The Verge or maybe it was Engadget a few months ago, who completely flip-flopped on the Switch. Oh, don't buy the Switch. Oh, now it's indispensable. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It sounds like it might have been The Verge.
So many people ping-pong back and forth between love Nintendo, hate Nintendo, and it's like on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, the Switch sell like, okay, today in Japan, the Switch sales went up and it sold out in 3 minutes. Literally 180 seconds. The Switch is gone again in the entire country.
Yeah.
What does Nintendo have to do? You know, at least try the service before you knock it.
Yeah, and I do think that is one of the interesting parts. So I would say this. I saw a lot of feedback very quickly online of people who are like, "Oh, this is horrible. It doesn't. I'm not happy with it." And there are. Going to your point, if you don't have the app, if you don't have functionally tried it, have got your hands on it yet, stop beaking about it, right?
Yeah.
Now, what I do appreciate is I do appreciate people like you who do have your experience with it, and of course, some of the friends of the show that we support and that we trust. So, for great examples, Andre from Game Explain has it. He was able to. They put up a video actually just recently about their experience with it, and there's definitely some flaws to it. Like, let's not say it's a perfect application anyway.
No,
right?
It's not. It's not perfect at all.
So here are some of the things that we are hearing is that basically if you are, if you have it open, you have a chat open, and you flip to another app, you are basically disconnected from that call or it's muted. So you can't hear what's going on. They can't hear you. So you have to be very mindful of kind of going back and forth. If your phone goes into a sleep mode, if it kind of sits on screen, that will also kind of mute the call or disconnect the call. So it basically means your screen always has to be on. So if the screen is always on, you're always running your battery, so your battery drains quicker, right? So there's a couple of little snags in there that definitely seem to be challenging. Now, what I did hear and see from Andres as well is at least the VoIP connection is solid and very strong, right? Good. Which is really what we do want to hear. Is we want to hear a good, solid VoIP connection. Now, again, none of us have had the experience of actually getting on a call together with someone to understand the logistics behind it. We'll be doing it and have more impressions next week. But, I would say for those of you that are, throwing the baby out with the bathwater, just take a couple of moments, take a breath, wait for the game to go out, and actually give, here's an amazing idea. Use your own opinion, not somebody else's, and then give that a shot. Now, if in the end it is crap, then it'll be crap.
Here's the thing, too, and I hope people realize this, is that the functionality, being able to play it or hear your chat in and out of the app, here's two issues I have with that. Number one, they can put out an update and fix that.
Yep, super easy.
Number two, why are you switching to a text message in the middle of a game of Splatoon anyway?
Yeah.
I guess maybe for the lobbies and things if you're having a long wait or whatever. But people, are we that phone addicted that we can't let it sit there for a few minutes while we're doing something else? I talk to my son about this all the time, about him sitting in front of the TV while he has the Switch in his hands. And I'm like, You don't need both of these screens on.
Yeah.
Set the phone to the side and relax for a little bit.
Well,
maybe that's a controversial. Maybe we're skipping into too much, or getting into some high water there or whatever. But and here's another thing too. We don't even know how the functionality of this app is going to look when we're finally paying for it.
No. Yeah, this is super bare bones.
People are trashing Nintendo completely because they're giving you a free solution, and of course you've got to have the dongle and all that stuff and whatever, one of my friends today was like, well, if you don't buy the dongle and you don't have all this, you can't hear the game audio. And I was like, so it's just like when we play Overwatch? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't hear game audio when we play Overwatch, and I plug my headphones straight into my PlayStation 4 controller, into my DualShock controller. I only hear chat.
Yeah.
And half the time it sounds like crap because PS4, I don't care what people say. I don't know what they're getting or if it's just my thing. PS4's online voice chat's crap. It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw another person today who said something about like they posted a tweet from some like parody account of Kaz Hirai, and it was like Nintendo is so focused on protecting children from inappropriate content that they made an app that nobody wants to that no one will ever use. Basically, that's the way they protected children, was they made a terrible app that no one would ever use.
Yeah.
My comment back to them was Sony is so concerned with protecting children in its ecosystem that they took their ball and went home. Oh, I meant didn't support crossplay between platforms.
Yeah. Well, and like here's the thing: people are complaining about that. The other thing that we also just have to, like, from a technical perspective, get over is that, like, you can literally have, and again, I'm going to use Andre's video here. You can literally have 3 friends come in. The 3 of us could be on a phone call. We're going to battle each other, but we have to separate teams, and we allocate who's going to what team, and the device does it, right? Like, it separates us into 2 separate rooms. We have that chat, and then when it's done, it sounds like you can come right back together, right? So there's a lot in play there, and I do think you're right, Marty. There's a couple of quick, updates that you can make to the programming in the background to solve a lot of these issues, and I would not be shocked if we see an early patch for this thing either come out this week or next to solve some of those. Yeah. Right.
So I just conversation with Zach and Lloyd Hennison, who's also was an iOS developer, and I've dabbled with iOS for several years ago, so I knew a little bit about how the interface goes, and I suggested that it's just mainly a compiler setting whether the app has background functionality or not, and Lloyd pretty much confirmed it. He said there's one line of code that needs to be added, and then some changes to a .plist file, which kind of sets up some properties, and then recompile it, and then it'll have background functionality that should allow communication in sleep mode and in other apps, just like everyone wants.
Yeah.
So I hope they do it.
Yeah, I suspect they would, right? Like, and maybe it's something they just didn't realize. Like when they released it, they just didn't realize the bug was there. It's a super easy fix, right? Like, I mean, and when people are like, "Hey, Nintendo, my screen's dying real fast," or like, "I'm burning through batteries," right? Then yeah, people are gonna make that adjustment.
Well, or let's consider the fact that maybe we're helping them beta test this.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. You may see the full update, a full version update in October when the service potentially goes. A couple of things that I would like to see in it, and I actually just want to take a little bit of a button or a bit of a pin, because I could hear people probably like yelling in my ear, Marty, when you were like, "Are we too addicted to phones that we have to not be able to switch?" I would imagine a situation where potentially maybe the 3 of us are in a lobby, we're waiting. And we're waiting for Zach, like we always do. We always wait for Zach because he never shows up on time. So one of us has to jump over to our app or our line chat and send him a message being like, "Hey, Zach, where are you?" Right? So I could see that kind of like you using the other systems or other apps to mobilize your team together, right? Like, "Hey, where are you at? Oh, Marty, you're 5 minutes out. You're doing something else," right? So there may be some communication that way as well.
I got you.
What I would love, I mean, so I don't think you're wrong, Marty. You're just saying, like, I could definitely see, especially when I was thinking about, we used Discord a couple of months ago and we did the Mario Kart 8 tournament, how many apps I was flipping between because people were like, "Oh, I'm in this room now, and oh, I'm over here, and there's tweets going on, and you're trying to promote stuff, and you're like, oh my God, too many screens." But what I would say is I would love to just see some really easy functional additions made. Right, I'd love to quickly just see just a normal, like, pull in my friends list from the Switch right now that I have all of my friends, and give me like an actual like texting option, like an actual, like we use Line obviously for a lot of our stuff, but I'd love to have like a Nintendo Dads group where I have like you guys in there, and it's just a quick texting chat. That's essentially it, right? Because I mean, I and there's so many of those functions that I'd like to see just kind of additionally added. So it'll be interesting to see how we can actually schedule invites, right? So eventually, when we're online and Marty's like, "Hey, I want to invite you guys," what does that look like? What does the notification look like? How easy is it for me to jump in? Those are all things we're going to have to test as well. But obviously, we'll be testing it this Friday.
And obviously, I mean, I'm not going to walk back anything I said, but I mean, we are getting a beta of the app. I'm pretty convinced of that. But there's things that can be added. I'm not saying that Nintendo's infallible, but what I am trying to say is a lot of the reaction to this is your typical, "Ha ha, we knew Nintendo would fail, you idiots."
Yeah.
And that's not warranted here.
Yeah.
We haven't even seen how it's going to work yet. I do have a Splatoon the Hori set
Mm-hmm.
with the dongle and everything. I have that on the way. It's supposed to be here Friday.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually free all weekend, so I plan on playing a lot and trying it out. But like if it's, I don't do a whole lot of online gaming, so it's not a huge deal to me. But I mean, like you're saying, if it's going to make it easy for me to get in a match with you guys or, podcast friends or whatever, then I'm all for it. If they're doing the back end of that, then, but would I much rather like just do it on my screen and, form a party like I do on PS4 when I play Overwatch with my friends? Yeah, I'd probably rather do that. It feels, that's more intuitive. But Nintendo you're working, what people I think are the angle that they're cutting out of this, or maybe they just don't see, is that Nintendo's working a solution where you have a portable gaming system. A PS4 you can't just pack it up and take it with you and keep your game going. So if I take my phone with me, if I have my phone with me, then I'm also able to be connected. If I have unlimited data, and I'm out and I'm on Wi-Fi at Starbucks like I was the other day playing Splatoon, then I can have my phone there and I can do voice chat, or whatever. The premise behind it is, and I think, of course, sometimes what we intend doesn't always end up as what it is. Mm-hmm. The intention is you're able to take voice chat with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
The implementation of it has been, of course, skewed and misconstrued and everything else. But, excuse me, I believe that's Nintendo's fault because they have a communication problem.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's just Nintendo of America's fault. And then maybe that's a good question for you, Justin. How is this being communicated over the pond there, across the pond? I mean, like, does Nintendo of Europe have a Reggie figure who like interviews all the time and talks about different features and blah blah blah?
They do have a head, and I can't remember what his name is here, but he's not as charismatic or as kind of showcasey as I think Reggie is, right? I think a lot of it is the feed that they're actually getting out of the UK out of Japan, translated, to connect with the American side of it as well. A lot of the communication is also through their social media channels. Sure. Right, that's where you see a lot of their countdown and their hype. I haven't seen a specific UK direct yet here. I probably should search for that or put it in my YouTube channels for sure to subscribe to. But I think a lot of it, from what I've seen in the past, is just overlap of the feed that you're getting from the US as well. So
I say that because Jesse. I'm looking at you. Reggie has talked a lot about before about the app, and about we're going to be able to do this and we're going to be able to do that, and it's not going to be this and it's not what you think it is, and I'm wondering if that kind of is going, on in other countries, or if he's just having to do that and like he's sitting there going, okay, man, this is what Japan has come up with.
Yeah,
and now I've got to spin it.
I think because the North America is so huge in relation to Nintendo's market from a communications perspective, that whatever spins out of the US, specifically out of Reggie, I think is kind of the word, right, that's being used. Right. I haven't seen a lot of interviews or statements from Nintendo UK's president in that capacity. So I think a lot of it spins, especially we may see that different when Gamescom comes up, right? Gamescom's coming here in the end of August, and that's the UK specific. So there may be more communication I might hear from him there. E3 is obviously in North America. That's where Reggie is. So that may be where he's getting that moment to shine. So it'll be interesting to see in the next couple of weeks, maybe where that presence changes as well.
Zach did chime in chat about the app function and its background functionality. He says that the concern is that in their FAQ indicates the voice can't be used in the background. This makes him think it's actually intentional.
And sorry, is that Zach Erickson?
Yeah, it's our Zach, yes.
Zach Erickson, a co-host of the show, who's chatting in the comments.
Right. Yes.
Good on you, Zach. Good on you. I'm just busting him for it. It's great. Yeah. Maybe that's a good point then, Zach. I appreciate you kind of live fact checking our content as we're spitting it out. So I appreciate that. Now, speaking of Splatoon and playing online with Functional, I do want to draw people's attention to the Super Indie Podcast Game Night, which is occurring July 21st and July 23rd. Starts at noon Eastern Standard Time, and this is a combination of some of the greatest podcasts out there. Of course, ours being the cornerstone of this greatness. I just kid, folks. All right, I just kid. But there's some great podcasts out here that are going to be in part of this group, including Nintendo Impact Gaming, Nintendo Nostalgia, Fluxpost, Game Moose, Generational Gamers, If We Ran Nintendo, Mega Dads, We, the Gamercast, Warp Whistle, Life of Gaming, Forget Being Cool. Tons of our friends that we have built through this indie podcast group will be on this as well. So if you guys are looking for some games, watch our YouTube channel, watch our Twitter channel and Facebook feeds and all that stuff to jump in. But we will be playing pretty consistently this entire weekend, and we look forward to playing with you guys as well.
That first weekend that Mario Kart was out was such a great
mad season
weekend, and I can't wait for that to happen again. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Nintendo Dad's going to run this mother, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's do it.
There's nothing more than I want to do than to beat Sean Capri and Bobby Pauls. That's all I want to do all weekend long. All I do is win.
Yeah, that just happened.
There. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm sure there's going to be a gift somewhere.
I want to just throw this out here because it's not a huge news thing, and we probably need to move on. Jackbox Party Pack 3 is probably one of my favorite games for the Switch.
Yes.
And my father-in-law and mother-in-law, my wife, my kids are all going out of town this weekend, and I'm about to have to break the bad news to them because they think they're taking the Switch.
Oh, no.
Because they think they're going to go play Jackbox Party Pack with all the family at this cabin they're going to, and I'm going to nah, it's Splatoon 2 weekend. But the reason I mentioned Jackbox Party Pack 3 is that this week, Jackbox Games announced that Packs 1 and 2 will be coming to the Switch.
That's fantastic.
Later this year, along with Pack 4. So we're going to get the potential to have 15 new party games on the Nintendo Switch by the end of the year. Including a game that I'm excited about that's not by Jackbox, which is called Use Your Words, which is kind of a takeoff on this. All of them use your phone. You're familiar with, a lot of our listeners are familiar with the Jackbox formula. But I'm excited about this because it shows that indies and I guess what you might call AAA companies are experiencing success on the Switch already. Because if they would not be bringing 1 and 2 to the Switch if 3 had not had a decent sell through.
Yep. No, absolutely.
And so I can't tell you how many people have played this and been like, "Oh, it's so awesome! You can play that, and take it wherever you go." I was like, "Yep, go buy one." It's crazy to me that Jackbox has been a showpiece for my Switch.
That's great, though.
I'm just excited that they're coming. No release date yet, but keep a watch out for those if you're a fan of those type of games.
And then previously announced, Pack 4 is also coming to the Switch when that gets released everywhere else, which is supposed to be before the year's end.
I can't wait. I said this when I found out about it to somebody. I'm almost as excited about this as I am for Mario Odyssey. I'm serious.
That's a very high bar.
If anybody who knows me well knows that's a high bar.
That's a very high bar. Okay. Speaking of things that probably don't make people very excited, Nintendo announced last week that the new Nintendo 3DS is being discontinued worldwide, and looks like the only versions to be left sold are the new Nintendo 3DS XL and the new Nintendo 2DS XL. So for you that are maybe like, Justin, my brain's confusing. What are you talking about? There's a new, there's an X, there's a Galaxy. I'm so confused. What we're talking about, folks, is we're talking about the new 3DS, the smaller version that came out in Japan a few years ago. North America just got it about 9 months ago, as I recall. And this is the one specifically where you can change the faceplates. All right, that's the one that, if you're thinking and trying to remember, it's the faceplate one. So they've stopped production of that, And they will continue, of course, their production, as I mentioned here, as well, of the XL 3DS. So that's the larger stock one that we did get in North America. And also the new 2DS XL, which is actually coming out July 28th in North America and the EU as well. And actually, I think we'll be getting a copy to get our hands on as well to give a shot to. That's exciting. So, guys, obviously people are upset, and I want to take a quick moment here of silence for our Patreon supporters like Callow and some of Phoenix, who are massive collectors of these faceplates, who are kind of, as they said, they may have an addiction or problem to them. We're now having to scramble to get these faceplates as quick as possible.
It's been a collectathon of faceplates this week since this announcement came out.
Yeah. And the challenge was they weren't really easy to find in North America anyways. They were pretty much exclusive to Japan, with a couple stock ones coming over. So you really had to import them as well. So I know that the lads are trying to get in as many as possible. So, gentlemen, good luck to you, and hopefully that continues. Guys, what are we seeing here? Are we seeing the decline of Nintendo? Is the 3DS dead? What's going on here?
I think this was probably inevitable. They're phasing out the smaller models of everything and scaling up so that your purchase of a Nintendo 3DS is now a little more intentional. Mm-hmm. And I love that they're continuing to say, I think it's ironic they're continuing to say, or just funny, that every mention of the new 2DS or the existing 3DS is like, and many more games are coming every time. Like every time they say that, and many more games. But I have the new 3DS, and I switched down to it. I wouldn't call it a downgrade because I actually like it better. I downgraded to it from the 3DS XL, the new 3DS XL, earlier this year. I got one on Black Friday, and I'm glad I did. But I'm having to let go of it because my son's 2DS has started to have the SD card slot door problem that is common on a lot of the early 2DS models. There's something about the sensor on that door that if like he bumps his system or something, or he's a little rough with it, it causes it not to think there's an SD card in it, even though there's one inserted. And so it's been happening more and more, and he's got games, he's downloaded to it and save files and things like that. So I'm going to get the new 2DS XL and let him have my new 3DS.
It's very kind of you to pass
well,
down
it is. It's so noble of me that I want the new 2DS XL. I really want the white and orange one.
It's a European one.
And no, you stupid European people get all the good stuff. No, you people in Europe are not stupid. I promise. It's like you're getting that, and you're getting the Metroid special edition. You've got SNES pre-orders, and anyway. But no, I want that one, but I'm getting the turquoise one because I want to go ahead and switch him over because, I'm trying to be a good dad.
Yeah,
at least, dad. I don't he gets so super frustrated when he wants to play 3DS games and he can't. Sure. We just went to camp about a week ago, and his buddy was sitting by him on the bus. We're riding up, and he's like, "Dad, I can't play Mario Kart." And that was like he has a downloaded copy of Mario Kart 7. And he couldn't play it. And we had to fiddle with it and turn it off and on and shake it a little bit. And finally it started working. And so I was like, you know what? We're just going to get I don't care much about the 3D anyway. And so that's why I'm going for the 2DS instead of just going to the store and buying a new 3DS XL that's already there.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and he's he's super jazzed about the Amiibo functionality because, the original 2DS didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I never did buy like a what is it, like a dongle or a base or whatever.
A hockey puck.
Yeah, I never bought that.
An IR receiver.
Yeah,
sensor
I never
thing.
bought that and was never going to. I was just like, you'll just have to suffer, kid.
It's a hard knock life.
Yeah, it's hard knock life. Can't play with your Amiibo on your thing, but he's excited about that, and I think it's going to end up being good. It's just that I have to spend. I think it's $190 or whatever. Ooh. Or 179, maybe it's 179 here.
I will tell you they look slick. They look real nice, and good reviews are coming in for it. Actually,
I'm excited about it more and more because of the reviews. Can I ask this? Maybe I'm the only one. Do you guys feel like these were designed for the new Pokemon games? Go look at Pokemon Sun's colors and go look at Pokemon Moon's colors. Oh. You have a white DS with orange trim, and Solgaleo is white and has yellow and orange.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes sense.
You have Lunala for Pokemon Moon. You have a turquoise, a dark DS with turquoise things. It's almost like these were meant to come out, a year ago, maybe.
The Marty conspiracy theory.
Maybe they were pushed back because of the Switch.
Interesting.
Wouldn't be the first time Nintendo held back hardware.
Yeah. No, for sure. So
like the GBA was apparently ready to go much earlier, but since the Game Boy Color was selling better than they expected, probably due to Pokemon, they decided to hold it off a few years.
The pleasant surprise I just got is that the new 2DS XL is only $149.99.
There you go. That's not bad.
And it actually comes with a charger.
Yes. Yeah, they did a good job of that, actually. Yeah. So yeah, if you are a person who is looking for the new 3DS with one that needs faceplates, it might be a hard search. If you have one, maybe keep it. Make sure you don't sell that on eBay. Maybe worth something as well. So, and I know there was some Jesse mentioned Black Friday deals last year, and it was quite the hot item. So yeah, keep that up to stock. A couple other quick news items I want to mention here, and I'll maybe get around the horn on this. Kingdom Hearts 3 said they may be coming to the Switch after PS4 and Xbox One releases. Jesse and Marty, do you guys think this is actually going to happen?
Maybe.
Good.
Yeah, and every outlet that's been reporting this maybe has been in quotes. So I don't think anyone's actually believing it. I think it's just Square Enix is trying to make people give people hope for something that may not ever come. I didn't even know this was coming to Xbox One. That's a surprise to me. I thought this was a PS4 exclusive. So I'm not saying that it'll never happen, but I'm thinking highly improbable.
Fair enough. The next news item. For those of you that have a Wii U, there is a firmware update to 5.5.2, which hints at the end of the Miiverse is coming. So for those of you that still have your Wii U, and feel free to dust it off, do check for that firmware update. Not a huge shock that the Miiverse may be coming to an end. It's not being supported on the Switch either, and it's not a part of the 3DS. So not a huge shock, although it is interesting to see that a version of the Miiverse is being used in Splatoon 2, and some wonderful artwork being used there as well. I don't understand how people are that creative.
Wonderful artwork.
Yeah, and then there's some lack of talent there as well. And the final news that I'm going to have say here is Atari is releasing a new console called the Atari Box, which, from my understanding of it, is essentially what I would call the Atari version of the NES Classic. Jesse, anything else you want to add to this one?
Yeah, this is kind of something I've been keeping an eye on. They send out an email to people who signed on to their newsletter the other day. They haven't announced specs or pricing or release yet, but they did say it will have internal specs are quote unquote modern. It'll have 4 USB ports, an HDMI, and an SD slot, and based on the pictures, it'll also have Ethernet for its internet capabilities. I presume it'll also have Wi-Fi, since that's kind of standard on every board now. But so they said they'll have classic games in addition to some more current content. No additional information on that yet. It'll be in 2 different models: a wood edition for those who like the wood paneled systems of the late 70s and early 80s, and then a more modern looking black and red one. And based on the images of the prototypes that they had, I'm guessing that the system will be about foot wide by 4 inches deep by about 1 inch tall. So
that's very specific.
It'll be a small it's a smallish system. It's not like how big the original Atari was. So I'm interested in finding out more information on this.
Very cool. All right. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that. So yeah, guys, that's it for the news. Let's why don't we jump into what we've been playing, shall we?
Yep.
All right, we'll insert a bumper here. All right, so what we have been playing, Jesse. Let's start with you, sir. What have you been playing?
I've actually been playing quite a bit. Now I have to try to remember. Because my daughter has been playing in the PS4 a lot lately, so I haven't been able to. I did finally start a playthrough of Color Splash.
Okay, what do you think of
that? It's falling into the same pitfalls that I was worried about, and in fact, I after playing through the first level to getting the first big star. I was guessing that the things that everyone hated from Sticker Star is going to piss me off, and it has.
Okay.
And it has. In fact, I got to a stuck point, a few levels into the second star, where I'm supposed to find this professor who is supposedly walking in the woods, but I have no level open to me to take me into woods to find him. So I'm not sure what I'm missing. So
okay. So Color Splash has not been doing it for you. What else have you been playing?
So I've been playing more of Super Mario World, for our Retro Rewind.
Of course.
Which we're the one that continually gets pushed, but we're still planning that. What else have I played? Oh, yeah. This was released last week on the Switch. The game is called Levels Plus Addictive Puzzle Game.
Okay.
And based on its description, I thought it might have been like a scenario-based puzzle thing where, you get little mini missions, do this, and then once you do it, then you get a new puzzle, do this. And so something that would let me come back and do new things, but that's not what it was.
Oh no, what was it?
It's basically, here's a puzzle, high score time, do the best you can.
Oh,
that's not interesting to me. So yeah, I've heard other people give it compliments. I'm not going to.
That needs to be in the box. I was going to give a compliment, but no.
Yeah. So the gameplay is interesting. I just wish there was more variety to it. Basically, you have a 5x5 grid of different colors, either blue, yellow, or red, that all start out with ones. So you match two ones together of the same color to make a 2. You match two twos together of the same color to make a 3. So you do this with your blues and your yellows. Blues are like you, or like the characters you control. Yellow is the treasures. So you can use a player to take a treasure if your number is equal to or more than the value of the treasure. So if you have a treasure value 6, you need a person of 6 or more to get it. So then the red tiles are your enemies, which you can't control at all, and they also are numbered. And the longer you play, the more higher numbers will spawn. And just like you have to be equal to or higher than the value of the treasure, you have to be equal to or higher the value of the monster. Otherwise, it's not a valid turn. So a 1 player can't take a 2 monster, but the other way around can.
Sure.
So, the first game I played probably took me 10 to 15 minutes before I finally ran out of valid moves to end the game, and then it just brought me into a grid full of 1s and said, do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, really? I was hoping for more.
Okay. So, not a huge recommendation.
No. Yeah, save the $7 for games coming next week.
Okay, well, maybe we've got a couple games that we should suggest. I think Marty has been playing as well. So, Jesse, anything else?
I played the Hey Pikmin demo.
So have I. Marty, have you?
I have.
Okay, so let's have a little chat about that. What did you think of the Hey Pikmin demo there? Jesse?
Yeah, based on the menu interface that they delivered, it looks like it's probably the same demo as they had at E3.
Yep.
It's knowing how they do their demos. It's like, here's 3 levels, pick one, and then you go through the level. So I ended up playing. I played each one once in the first sitting, and I ended up collecting all the treasures except for one. There was like a Game Boy Color Zelda cartridge.
Yeah, I had the same case. I threw the wrong thing, and I blew up the block I had to step on.
So I ended up playing it again, and then I did pick it up. So I think it was they gave you the tutorial, the first level in the game, and then like the first level of World 3.
Yeah.
So, and it's plays like I expected. 2D plane where you can throw vertically, and I'm liking what I see, and I'm looking forward to getting the game next week.
Good. Yeah, okay. Marty, how about yourself? What do you think of
it? This is Pikmin game I always wanted.
Really?
Really, yeah. Like the 3D Pikmin games are a little difficult for me. I don't like. When we talk about like strategy games and different things like that, I kind of have a hard time like with, especially like with Pikmin 3 and 2. I think like differentiating between squads and leaders and different things like that. But this hits the sweet spot of Pikmin for me, and I fell in love with it. I knew I would be in love with it. I knew from like the first time they showed it, I was like, yes, 2D Pikmin, because everything's better in 2D, guys. If they made like seriously, if they made a 2D Splatoon shooter game, I would be all over it. Like if just keep remaking the 80s. I mean, that's fine. But no, like I will say that I liked it, but I didn't, and I did like go, okay, I'm buying this game, but I didn't love it. Like, okay. It did not make me want to sit and just consume endless hours of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason was it's really slow. And if you've played the demo, you know what I'm talking about. Olimar is slow. The Pikmin are slow. It kind of like, I'm like, and I'm searching the whole time, like, where's the jump button? You know, why? Yeah. Like, there should be a jump button.
Well, in the very fact that the moment you start the game, it's like the 2 controllers that you need are the Circle Pro or Circle Pad and the Stylus, and you're like, oh, that's it. And I was like, oh no, surely there is more. Nope, that is exactly it. And I would agree with you in regards to pacing. It feels very lackadaisical is the word I'm going to use there. It reminds me very much of like playing Yoshi's Woolly World, where you're like do. You know, there's no level of urgency, which in Yoshi's Woolly World is kind of fine, right? You're still kind of exploring and you're still interactive, you're still jumping. There's a little bit more, but the Circle Pad, Stylus, like it feels very repetitive in some of those ways that I was not. Like I went through the demo, I went through all the stages, and I was like, huh, okay, I've done that now. I was not. I wanted to be taken aback by it. I wanted to be grabbed by it, but I really wasn't. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a step back and say that when I downloaded it, I wanted to play it, and my daughter, she came into. We were outside just kind of doing some barbecue, and she's like, "Do you mind if I just go inside for a bit and just kind of have my own time?" I was like, "Yeah, go relax, do what you want to." And I was like, "Hey, by the way, I downloaded a new game on the 3DS. It's called Hey Pikmin. Why don't you give it a shot? See what you think of it?" Right? She likes demos. So we're outside. We have our house here is 2 levels, and her room's upstairs, and her mother and I are outside sitting, just having doing some barbecuing. All of a sudden, she opens her window, leans out, and goes, "Hey, Dad, this game is awesome!"
Yeah,
and I was like back into bed. She's like, I was like, okay. Apparently, it's really hitting her sweet spot. So much so, there's been a couple times I'm like, no, you have to like close the game now because we're having dinner. Like, I need you to stop playing and actually come for dinner time, right? So she was really taken aback by it. She really loved it. And it felt like it fit in her wheelhouse really nicely. Like there were some spots where she didn't have all the Pikmin to get some of the items. You know, you throw the Pikmin up to the items and have them pull down, and she was missing a couple, so she had to go back and whistle and try and find them, right? So it felt like the right level of difficulty for her, and she's 9, and it felt like it felt way too light, way too soft, and way too watered down for me.
Right.
But it felt really good for her, and I wonder if maybe that's what we're hearing a little bit here, Marty, some of that pacing and the target audience that's associated with it.
Well, all you need to do is wait, like if there's 6 stages, because halfway through the 5th one, it's going to get so butt hard nobody can play it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like exactly what happened with Woolly World. You know, Woolly World's all like you said, you know, until the last stage where it cranks it up to 11.
Yeah.
And, I mean, all of a sudden you're like, what? Where did this game come from?
Yeah.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland did the same thing. You know, there's several Nintendo games that do that.
Yeah. Mario 3D World, where it cranks it up to 17.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, 3D World especially. But now, you know, it's interesting that you mentioned your daughter playing that, because my son got the demo, a hold of the demo and played it and loved it as well.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's just its target audience. And, you know, I do appreciate games where I can, like, just kind of mosey through, you know, and enjoy. Like, not everything has to be like a blaster fest or, you know, arms flying all over the place or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, even though I do appreciate those games, I do need games sometimes I can just chill out with, you know, kind of tone it down.
Those are the games I prefer. I don't like the games that get butt hard, as you said earlier, on me. Like, you know, Donkey Kong Country games. No, I'm done with those. I don't.
Yeah. So I think this, you know, if you're looking for a game that's, you know, just from our demo alone. Now, obviously, we don't have a copy of it yet, but I think there are a couple of us here that'll be picking up, so we'll be able to review it for the show. But definitely feels like a good game if you're looking for something for kids. And this will be releasing on July 28th, along with Metopia as well, which is very much kind of that casual.
Yeah, that's the issue I'm going to have with both of those games coming out on the same day. Those are both games I want.
Marty's going to be poor. He's got to pick up a new 3DS and a new TDS XL and both those games probably.
Yeah. What I'm actually hoping is that GameStop is going to let me like retroactively trade in my son's 2DS after I get everything traded in, you know, or traded over, like the systems moved over. That's what they did with the new 3DS XL. They let me do that. So
nice.
I'm hoping that we get something like that. Now, this last system I just bought from, like, when I got the new 3DS, I just bought it from Walmart, so it wasn't a big deal. I just went and traded in actually sold my 3DS XL to a buddy of mine. So
nice.
That was probably the easiest transition. But the one that came out when Majora's Mask came out, the new 3DS XL, they actually let me do a retroactive trade on that. Like they returned the system and then they put my system toward trade credit. So I hope they do that again.
Yeah. Sweet. So we've all been playing Hey Pikmin. Now, Marty, you and I have been playing a game provided to us by SMG Studios, Death Squared. So thank you to that company for providing us a copy for review. And you did a review actually just recently for VGTribune.com, so you can head over to our website and check that as well. But Marty, we've been playing Death Squared. What do you think of this game?
I love it. It's like Portal meets Pikmin, or Portal meets Snipper Clips.
Yep,
it's actually what I was meaning to say, and I said that in my review. You kind of have that like sterile lab environment of Portal, but you have the team cooperation of Snipper Clips, and of course the yelling that comes along with it. And then your wife leaves the room crying, and you feel bad and have to go and apologize.
You don't need voice chat when you play locally.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Maybe
that's just the Estes house.
Maybe that's just the Estes house. No. No crying, but we did play, and we played through about 20 levels last night. And she and I really enjoyed it. And I had played some on my own before that, but like I will definitely say about Death Squared, and I'll let you talk a little bit more about this one since people can go online and hear my thoughts or read my thoughts about it. I think it really shines with 2 or more people.
Yeah. Because
the one player mechanic is so and maybe it's just my brain. Maybe my brain's dumb. But like trying to control both of those robots at the same time is really, really difficult.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. So this is a game that I had seen. I think I saw on Kind of Funny back in March or February, and I was like, oh, that looks really good. And so when I heard this was coming out on Switch, I was very interested in it, and I would agree. So this is a great. Your statement of Portal meets Snipper Clips is probably the best description I have heard of it. So well played on that. I would say a couple of things. You're right. There's a story mode, which is just the one player mode,
right?
And so this is a great opportunity to play by yourself. You're controlling two of the blocks, and you have to basically, for those of you that have to understand, you basically have to solve puzzles to get your blocks to these specific kind of finish points, right? And avoid. It's a little bit of a co-op of trying to figure out how they get there without destroying each other. So it was like left brain, right brain working on this thing, because your player 1 and player 2 are your red and blue little blocks. I was using my Joy-Cons that had red and blue, but the colors were the opposite colors to the side that they were on in the Joy-Con I was controlling. So the amount of times that I controlled the wrong Joy-Con with the wrong block, like my brain was starting to melt, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And not for the fault of the game design, but just my brain couldn't do it quite right. Mm-hmm. So I was being so it was a lot of like, oh, I hit the wrong button, or I hit the wrong person who's by an edge, and now they're off and they die. But I did find the difficulty, the one-player campaign, where you're controlling the two, I find it's enjoyable. It's good to kind of like pick up a couple, try and solve a puzzle. You're grand, you're off, right? But where it absolutely shines, is with a multiplayer scenario, right? Where it's you and one other person, and you've separate Joy-Cons, and you can control your blocks, and the communication that's in the room. You go left, okay, I go right. No, I move here, no, you go there. Very much the communication you have with Snipper Clips, right? Of how you solve that. And I think it's that again, couch co-op that Nintendo does so well, and I'm so happy that Death Squared does here. That makes it such an enjoyable experience. Now, the one thing I would say that I think there's a bit of a fault here is so the options are basically you play by yourself, where you control two blocks. You play with another person, where it's two players, and you control a block each, which is a really good spot. And the next step up is a multiplayer, which is 4 blocks, which means you have to have 4 people that play with you. So we had a challenge where we wanted to play multiplayer, but my youngest daughter was outside playing, so she was outside. She didn't want to come inside play, so it was me, my wife, and my oldest daughter. So there was only 3 of us, but we're trying to play multiplayer. So I had to have both. I had to have 2 controllers, so I was controlling different blocks at different times, and it was kind of a little bit confusing that way. But I would have loved to see if there was a 3-player option. I would have loved to see if there's 3 players, the blocks that could have gone in for that one. But it really is that communication in that, and you give someone the Joy-Con, they hold it sideways, super easy to use, lots of challenge and depth here, so much fun. My youngest had a little bit of a difficulty with it. I think when you're saying to someone hey, move up 3 blocks, now you move to the right, now you just stop there, right? Because you're all jointly trying to solve this problem, and I think it was a bit challenging for her to understand no, just stay where you are, and daddy needs to do this, and mommy needs to do this. And so there's a disengagement, I think, for the younger levels. So my 9-year-old, Rylan, she did quite well with it, although at times she would go rogue. And she's like, no, you need to do this. And then she'd move her block out, and then a laser beam would destroy her. And I'm like, well, we're all starting from scratch again.
And that's one of my negatives, Justin, I think, out of it all. I mean, and I agree with you. It's a fantastic party game. I said that in my review. But the fact that everybody starts over when one person dies is and I would say difficult but fair, as far as the puzzle difficulty goes. But that right there is probably because my other big negative is the edge detection on the surfaces. Yes. Is if that block gets anywhere near the edge, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that. It almost feels like the surfaces are a little slippery or icy in some way, but it's hard to describe. I don't know if you've ever had the feeling you get a tactile feeling when you're on ice playing a game because your character's moving slower, and you're oh, they're supposed to be moving faster than this. That's kind of what you get. I mean, the controls are very precise.
Yes.
They're very spot on. But if you make one mistake near that edge, and that's where we were having problems, is like we were on levels where you had like, one block edge, ledge to walk out on, and I would hit the wrong direction, or my wife would hit the wrong direction, and she'd die, and we've wasted 5 minutes of time, on the solution. But other than that, though, the only other thing that I think, and I do think this is a design issue. You said something else wasn't, but I do think this is a game design issue. There should be a marker above people's heads that show you mom, dad.
Oh, son, like a little bit of naming.
Like a little name or something. I think that would, or even if maybe it was in the corners, like if your color was in the corner and it said Marty blue and I was blue, that would help a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very simple kind of change there. But my wife was talking to me about it too. She's like, yeah, that's a really fun game. Like she really quite enjoyed it. Right. And I think, again, a great example of, and you talked about Jack's Party Packs earlier, but the Nintendo Switch being such a great couch co-op fun game to bring. And this is such an easy game to bring along. Do you know what I mean? Anywhere you're going, you pop down into tabletop mode, you got a Joy-Con, you're off the races. So this is really fantastic. I'd highly recommend it. I know, Marty, you gave it an 8 out of 10 as well. So if you're looking for a puzzle game on the eShop, you want to add something, definitely check out Death Squared by SMG Studios, I think.
You can never go wrong with exploding robots.
Yeah, no, you sure can't. Now, Marty, we've walked around, we've talked about you've had a bit of a chat about it. Splatoon 2, you obviously got a review copy. Our good friends at NOE were happy to send us a copy of it. So what have you? Obviously, there's some embargoes. There's some review that you're going to have going up soon. I know some reviews have gone up. Do you want to just give us a kind of a quick synopsis? I can
kind of just paint with a broad brush here and look for a review going up tomorrow at VGTribune.com from me with a little more detail. So Splatoon 2, if you've played the Splatfest this weekend, you kind of know what to expect. Being able to get into the actual full meat of the game, though, has been fun. I will say, if the character creation part of Splatoon 2 that you had at the beginning of the Splatfest, you'll be doing that again. And I went from there, and immediately I had the game before the online app for phones launched. So I immediately went to the lobby and started playing online. And quickly, in the last couple of days, I'm a level 6 now. And I've not played all that much. It's not been, like constant play. But I did want to get up enough before I started even putting down some thoughts about it. I wanted to get to a point where I could at least buy items, and be in the shops and different things like that. So I did that. And I'm happy to report, it's guys, it's Splatoon. Okay. It's Splatoon. And I don't like, if you know that going in and you don't like Splatoon, don't buy this game. But if you do like Splatoon and you do like shooters, co-op shooters, and you want a little twist or something extra other than just run around and kill people, then this is a great game. And it's hard for me to say this and it not sound negative, and I don't want you to take it as negative as you're listening to this. It's more of the same, but it's still good. Does that make sense? Like it's more of the same but different. There's little tweaks that you can feel, and I was talking to Justin earlier. There's even little tweaks in like the specials, from the March Splatfest or Test Fire to this. Like the Tenatech missiles that you get as a special have really been nerfed, and really they've messed around with those and made them a little more fair, I guess, or whatever, to where they're not just like, in the Test Fire, I could just rain death with those things. Now it's a little more toned down. But I've also played through World 1 of the single player campaign, and I can tell you that if you're one of those people who was disappointed by Splatoon's single player campaign, you're going to like this one. There's not like a huge ton of story or anything like that, but there's enough variation even in the first 6 levels or so that it feels like a different experience. It feels a lot more well thought out and put together. It doesn't feel tacked on at all. The only thing that I've had no ability to use so far is online chat and Salmon Run. I've not been able to find a time that Salmon Run has been open, and I will say that this is a pretty glaring omission for me. Number one, I'm not sure that Salmon Run is up right now, but I've had we've had friends of the show who said they've played, so it must be. There is nowhere in the Inkopolis lobby to see when Salmon Run's going to be. And to me, that's a huge issue. I don't want to go to my app. I just want to do it from the Switch itself. And maybe once the game launches, there'll be kind of a little update, code update, or whatever that pushes with it.
I thought they had a thing where if you go to where the people hire you, and if they aren't hiring yet, meaning because it's closed, they show you the times when it is open.
Yeah, so you can go up there, and it's to the left of the lobby. There's two things that are supposed to be there. Grizzco is the name of the place. You're supposed to be able to walk in and if they're open and go on a Salmon Run. The second part of it is that there's a window for bonuses, right? And I'm just not finding it, or my game is faulty or something. I don't know. There's nothing there. The gate's closed. It doesn't look open. It doesn't look like it's going to open. And like if I go up to the bonus thing, it just says you can't get a bonus right now. But I will say this overall, my review is positive. I'm thrilled that I love Splatoon. On the Wii U, the only problem I had with it was that my internet situation is limited where I live, so I was constantly porting my Wii U back and forth to play, which meant the console, the gamepad, the game, all of that together. Now it's right here.
Yeah. He's showing off. He's got it too, eh?
Yeah. Yesterday, my son has occupational therapy, and I was like, all right, son, I'll see you in an hour. And I just jetted over to Starbucks and sat down and played some levels. Yeah. Played through some of the single player campaign, and then I switched over and I was playing multiplayer, just backpacking off the Starbucks Wi-Fi. It was great to be able to do that. And I'm going to play a lot more Splatoon because of it.
Right. The accessibility.
Yeah. And so I think that's its number one thing. Do I think that this is a full-fledged sequel, as some may have alluded to? Is it really a sequel, or is it just kind of like a Splatoon Deluxe? I don't know yet.
Fair.
I've got to spend some more time with it.
Okay.
But I definitely, if you like online shooters, then Friday's your day. Go get it. The addiction that I've developed to it in the last couple of days is kind of scary, and that makes me worried about ARMS. I know we talked about this, I think it was 2 weeks ago on the show about them releasing too early, and I'm worried about what this is going to do, because when I went to pick up ARMS in the store, there were not as many copies as I'm seeing. I was in a Walmart yesterday, and they already had Splatoon 2 out on the shelves, and there were 20 copies of this game. Yeah. And this is not a huge town that I'm in, so Nintendo's betting hard on this game. And the only thing I hate is I think that ARMS is going to suffer because of it, and I hate that because I genuinely like ARMS. I think it needs to last, but. Go pick up Splatoon 2 and go read the review tomorrow when it launches. You'll be glad you did.
Excellent. Yeah, I am super excited for this game, and I cannot wait to be playing online with both you guys and members of our community as well. So it should be fantastic. So, all right. Quick other thing that I would say, we've kind of covered a lot of games, so I'm going to say that I have also received an access code to Flip Wars from Nintendo. It actually came out here in the EU last week, and it's coming in North America on August 10th. I've just played a little bit of that. I'm not really ready yet to talk about it. Not that I can't because of the embargo, but I don't like it. And I don't know whether it's me or how I'm playing, so I want to just give it another crack before I give it a bit of a more of a commentary here. There's something that's going on there that I don't know what's going on. So Not saying that I have to like every game, but it just feels I expected something better. So we'll talk about that later, though. All right, guys. So with that being said, let's jump right into our mailbag. We've got a couple little mailbag items here that we're going to talk about. Now, first and foremost, actually, I want to give a huge shout out or big statement out to an individual. Where is the name? Fixer12, who gave us a fantastic review. Remember, we always talk about going to iTunes and giving us a 5-star review. Fixer12 gave us this review, and I want to just big shout out and thank you to this. This is one of my favorite shows to listen to every week. I feel like this show is full of people who don't claim to know everything about video games, but who just love Nintendo and the company as a whole. The Nintendo Dads have allowed me to play games I would have never played before, and also makes me think I have others to talk about, and also makes me feel like I have others to talk to about my Nintendo nerdiness too as I get older. Thank you, Nintendo Dads, for being such a down-to-earth and wonderful gentleman. Thank you for making my 1 hour and 30-minute drive times each week feel shorter, and Thursday mornings something I look forward to.
Wow.
1 hour and 30 minutes. Oh, sir, you are too kind, Fixer12.
I think I took that as his commute time, not our podcast time.
That's a good point, yeah. Hopefully it makes it easier for you. So thank you so much. And, of course, you went over to iTunes and gave us a 5-star review, and thank you so much for that. So we appreciate all that feedback. It helps us get in people's ears, so thank you. Today's mailbag question comes from Brandon, and Brandon asks, I was looking at some old E3 videos and came across Project Giant Robot. It was similar controls to ARMS. Do you think Project Giant Robot became ARMS?
I don't remember enough about that to know. Because I remember, before the Switch came out, Nintendo still put out Wii U game lists, and Project Robot name is a working title, has been on the bottom of those lists forever up until like maybe 2 months before the Switch came out. Really early this year, then it just stopped showing up. Basically when it got to the point when Zelda was the last game.
Yeah.
So
what?
And that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
It's been a while.
It was
I decided to go look up this footage and that Brandon's talking about. And I got to say, I mean, there are some ARMS similarities there. He's the guy who's playing it is on the treehouse. He's in a city, and he's using this robot that has a giant extendo arm. But to me, that's kind of where the similarities end, because you've got you can tell the player's using the whole like gyroscopic qualities of the Wii U gamepad, to like move the robot's body. And so I don't know that it necessarily became it. Maybe they borrowed ideas from it, because it's showing a gamepad view that's like first person, where you can shoot and do different things like that and kind of attack, but you're also looking on the screen at the same time. So I'm thinking like there's definitely a Star Fox Zero vibe from this as well. Maybe it's just a mishmash of ideas that got parceled out to other games.
Because Nintendo has been known to, show a prototype of a gameplay function, and then never hear from it again for 5 or 10 years, and then all of a sudden put out a game that resembles that prototype, and like, oh yeah, I remember that. So they don't throw anything away. Usually something.
Oh no,
those things get recycled into something.
Right, and just from my look at this. This does not look like a game that's fun to play.
Yeah,
Project Giant Robot did not look like a game that's fun to play. And if that is the case, if they just borrowed it and they took it from like they made ARMS and Star Fox Zero out of it, you got at least one good and one kind of mediocre game out of it.
Lucas Lore in the chat says that the pieces of Giant Robot did end up in Star Fox Zero, and I do know that Project Guard
did
shown in the same E3 as Project Robot. Obviously, was its own spin-off Star Fox title that came as a pack-in.
Yeah, exactly. So Project Guard was part of that. Project Giant Robot was a separate tech demo as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good theory, and I actually, Brandon, it's a great point to bring that up. Actually, I agree with both you gentlemen. Though Nintendo is very likely to repurpose their ideas, but I don't know if they repurpose it this quickly. They very rarely kind of let an idea die. It kind of just sits in the back pocket, gets some dust in it, and eventually revitalizes itself. I mean, if you look at if you look at the 3D on the 3DS, it's really the Virtual Boy depths perception, right? That was one of the things they were trying to deal with, and then they perfected the technology, right? You can argue that the Switch is the perfection of the Wii U's idea, right? So
right. And talking about quick turnaround time, went back and looked at this video just to be sure I wasn't going to misspeak when I said this, but this was at E3 2014 that Project Giant Robot was shown up.
So it was 3 years ago.
We've got a concept that's 3 years ago.
It's possible,
now,
then.
I mean, it is possible, but like just the controls look so different from ARMS.
Right.
Maybe there was. I mean, again, maybe there was some borrowed elements there, but
yeah,
I can't even see controlling ARMS this way. Like controlling ARMS this way would be a nightmare.
There has been examples of a fast turnaround as well. If you remember, I don't remember the show it was shown at, but they had the Super Mario 128 presentation. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where they had 128 different Marios running around independently. That basically was a prototype to Pikmin.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So I mean, I think there may be a kernel of truth somewhere. Maybe what Brandon's that may have been an epicenter somewhere of knowledge. So very, very cool. All right, Jesse. Anything in our chat that we need to be aware
of? Nothing that well, Lucas Lore asks if we played Implosion.
I have not played that yet.
No.
Yeah, I
don't know that I will.
I said that I have not. I wasn't sure about y'all.
There's so many games that I have on Switch right now that need to be finished, and just like I just want to play Splatoon and ARMS.
And that's a little bit of the challenge, right?
That's probably where I'm going to be for a while.
Yeah. And then the last thing I want to mention from chat, going back to when we talked about Atari Box. Adam Goswig says it sounds like this could be another version of Ouya, and I hope it isn't a Ouya 2.0. But I definitely will be keeping an eye on what it wants to be, and if it does sound like it'll be Ouya 2.0, then I'll pass. Because I bought Ouya, and I think it's been on for maybe 5 minutes.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
It's in a box somewhere. I don't even know where it landed. In the same box as my PlayStation TV, probably.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, with that being said, let's start wrapping this up. Marty, something's going on Patreon that we need our Patreon supporters to start doing right away. What is that?
Absolutely. We are bringing back Retro Rewind with a vengeance. And so right now over on our Patreon page, you can go and for $1 a month, you can get access to voting nominations right now for our August 2017 Retro Rewind title. Right now, we've got the likes of Castlevania 3 competing with Donkey Kong Country 64, and the only rule is that it must be available on either the 3DS or Wii U eShop, which means, yes, you will have to dust those systems off if you've just been Switch only for a while.
On Virtual Console?
Yeah, I believe so.
We have to verify. So the nominations go in, then we verify if they're available. Then we put together a vote wherever.
And so
we have to verify that.
Starting today until next Wednesday, you have a week to nominate, and then next Wednesday we will put up a voting poll to vote for our next Retro Rewind. And speaking of Retro Rewind, we know that we owe you guys a Super Mario World episode for that, and we have run into some just scheduling snags and things. Zach is going to be on holiday next week, and so we plan to have that episode to you within 2 weeks. Personally, I'll just full disclosure, I need to finish it again. I'm about halfway through, and I just have not had time between camp and job and Splatoon and everything else. I need to make myself sit down and finish And I'm playing it on my 3DS, which has been taken over by my son too, as well, playing Hey Pikmin and other things. But so 2 weeks from today, expect us to have the Super Mario World episode recorded directly after our current episode, and we'll have that out for you as soon as possible. But go over to Patreon and vote or nominate your choice for us what to play next.
Right.
All right. Great.
I did double check. Donkey Kong 64 is available on the Wii U for $10.
There you go.
$10 to you.
Perfect. A lot more money Canadian. All right, so guys, we're going to close out here. A couple things I need to give shout-outs to, and as a reminder, guys, hey, if you like geeky goodness boxes, head over to oneupbox.com. Use the offer code NintendoDads and get those boxes sent to you. By the way, also check out our YouTube channel where Marty has been unboxing those on behalf of us as well. So thank you, Marty, for that. And again, thank you, oneupbox.com, for your support. Speaking of support, this show is made possible by one of our amazing executive producer Patreon supporters, and that is Dave. Dave, sir, you are freaking amazing, and we love you. All right, and guys, that's it. Let's wrap up the show here. We put in some cue music, but I'll close this off, guys. If you're interested in following everything that we do, head over to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and that is at Nintendo Dads. You can check out all of our posts. If you want to email us, just like Brandon did today, head over to, you can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com. We stream live on twitch.tv Nintendo Dads, and on YouTube, where, by the way, guys, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. We would love if you could head over, hit the subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. If you want to call in and leave us a voicemail, believe it or not, people's phones work here, and you can do that. Call us 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big shout out and thank you to OC Remix, which is music that Jesse's going to be splicing in throughout the show and using. And big thank you, obviously, also to Carter Johnson and Adam Leonard for our amazing artwork that they do. And guys, last thing, if you want to change the world in one way or another, or subscribe to us, head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and check us out on VG Tribune. For myself, for Jesse, for Marty, and for an absent Zach Erickson, thanks very much for tuning in, and hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. Bye-bye. Hey, look at that. Like, less than 2 hours. That's what happens when you get Zach out of here. We're like, come on, move along, kid. Move along.